Shalom. Let's get this lesson. Alright. Get right into it. Okay, hold on for a minute. See how everything feels. Try to make this kind of quick. Just gonna go right into all the details. Go right into it. We ain't gonna. Okay, alright, you see supply chain collapse, emergency supply short, seek the Lord, man. Right. So I'm gonna get right to the lesson. So as giving our praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Awashah, down unto Apostle Brothers and GMS, Shalom to the hopeful elect, Shalom. So we're gonna get right into it. So let's get right to the lesson. So I can put that.
Mutual customizes my car insurance, so I only pay for what I need. And I do like the custom.
Over the past few years, the global supply chain has fallen into a crisis that never seems to end. The industry has become extremely vulnerable to global events. Consumers have been dealing with shortages and delivery delays, and uncertainty has become the new normal. Since the beginning of 2020, strains in global production networks reflected the imbalances between the supply and demand of a wide range of goods and created several headwinds for the global economic recovery. From that point on, the world has started to suffer from soaring inflation, raw material shortages, rising commodity prices, and a massive spike in shipping and freight costs. With every link of the supply chain impacting businesses, both large and small, trying to evolve a globally disrupted supply chain has been a recipe for disaster. While consumers have started to panic buy and hoard products once they realized empty shelves were becoming a common thing, companies have started to overorder and stockpile goods in anticipation of further supply chain bottlenecks. However, that has created even more shortages and pushed the price of virtually everything to historic highs. Simultaneously, the cost of sending containers from China to the US has reached astonishing levels over the past 24 months. For some trade routes, the price of standard 40-foot containers faced a 400 to 600% increase last year. In December 2021, The Economist estimated that the spot price of sending such a box from Shanghai to New York skyrocketed from $2,500 in 2019 to $15,000. On top of that, the latest port closures have recently resulted in a significant slowdown in global manufacturing. They also exposed the weaknesses of an interdependent global trade system that has become way too entangled to be able to run smoothly. Problems continue to pile up on top of each other, and industry executives are warning that we haven't seen the worst of this crisis just yet. For that reason, today we have compiled some alarming numbers that expose the true extent of the global supply chain crisis. But before checking this list, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to your channel to keep updated with our future videos. Without further ado, here are 30 facts that prove the global supply chain crisis is far from over. 1. According to a survey conducted by Chain Store Age, more than 6 in 10 Americans, or about 66% of US consumers, are concerned that supply chain issues will never end. On top of that, ever since the system has been disrupted in the first half of 2020, 83% of U.S. consumers reported empty shelves at their local stores. 2. Delivery delays have severely impacted American consumers over the past 2 years. For that reason, roughly 82% of shoppers have concerns that the supply chain crisis will ruin life plans such as birthdays, vacations, holidays, and the purchasing of necessary items. A study conducted by Material Handling and Logistics has shown. 3. In 2021, about 60% of U.S. consumers were unable to get a product due to shortages, according to a Gallup poll. In 2019, supply chain bottlenecks could make shortages last for an average of 3 to 4 weeks. In December 2021, that average jumped to 236 days. 4. Supply chain shortages actually have a major impact on consumer sentiment. Chain store age data reveals that U.S. buyers have a negative emotional response to product shortfalls, with 61% feeling frustrated, 46% impatient, 45% anxious, and 34% angry. 5. That's probably the reason why in a separate survey conducted by Ad Age, 58% of consumers said they would stop buying a brand entirely after 1 to 3 supply chain delays and disruptions. 6. Millions of companies have also been struggling to navigate through shortages and shipping delays. Accenture data exposed that last year, a staggering 75% of U.S. companies felt negative or strongly negative impacts on their business due to supply chain issues. 7. From the third quarter of 2020 to the third quarter of 2021, companies listed in the Fortune 500 reported a surge of 412% in supply chain bottlenecks, according to Reuters. 8. Shipping problems, including a shortage of containers, a global crew change crisis, the blockage of the Suez Canal, West Coast port congestion, China's government-mandated port shutdowns, and a shortage of labor have helped to push shipping prices up by 600% over the past 2 years. The Ad Age analysis shows that these higher costs prevented companies from investing more money in other necessary services, such as pay raises and advertising. 9. Before the burst of the health crisis, 45% of consumers never considered the supply chain when making purchases. After lockdowns began, 91% of them started to do so, Martech reports. 10. A McKinsey analysis uncovered that following the shutdowns caused by the sanitary outbreak,
Smile Direct Club.
These are Smile Direct Club aligners. They're laser cut for comfort to gently
93% of supply chain executives started looking for alternatives to the U.S., according to Forbes. 15. On top of that, more than 90% of the United States semiconductor-grade neon is sourced from Ukraine. 16. On a global scale, 241,000 businesses use Ukrainian suppliers. However, over 93 of those businesses are in the United States. 17. Raw material shortages are also contributing to higher prices and rampant inflation. For example, this year, cotton futures reached a decade high with prices that are 275 times higher than they were in January of 2021, Bloomberg data shows. 18. Experts with logistics firm Supply Chain Brain reported that despite a 36% year-over-year increase in 2021, it's expected there will be another 30% increase for the trucking industry in 2022, totaling a 66% surge in trucking costs in less than 2 years. 19. Moreover, Bloomberg estimates indicate that in December 2020, since October 2021, soaring natural gas prices pushed some producers to curtail aluminum production, resulting in more than 650,000 tons of lost production capacity. 2021. According to the Associated Builders and Contractors Index, construction input prices rose 22.3% this year, with non-residential construction prices jumping by 23.2%. 22 over the past 2 years, in 38 to 40.
I'll go to the next one.
We're about to experience the worst energy supply shortage this country has ever had in modern times. We're already feeling the pain of sky-high prices for energy. But on top of everything else that's going wrong in this country, the U.S. aging power grid cannot keep up with demand anymore, and extensive power outages are expected to occur as we head into the summer. Even worse, reserves of other energy supplies, including diesel, jet fuel, gasoline, and heating oil, are already hitting the lowest levels on record, and a widespread shortage of such fuels is threatening to bring the U.S. economy to a halt. These are serious issues that are reaching crisis levels and are going to impact our collapsing domestic supply chains as soon as next month. We must expose what is truly going on right now before it's too late. But before moving on, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our future videos. We are looking at a nightmare in terms of global diesel shortage that will shock people starting June. One industry insider warned on Sunday when diesel inventories on the East Coast were at 18 million barrels, which represented only about 3 days of demand. However, on that very day, diesel supplies ran down to less than 10 million barrels, and they continue to decline further and further with each passing day, leaving the United States in a very risky position. Diesel and other middle fuels, trains and trucks can't run, and the lack of transportation services can push domestic supply chains to the edge in a matter of days, cause damages that can last for months or even years. Even a moderate shortage of fuels would be paralyzing for the U.S. economy. Already, soaring prices for fuels have been contributing to inflationary headwinds due to the vital role in the American and global economy. At this point, retail prices for gasoline in the U.S. are up 45% compared to a year ago, while diesel used by American trucks skyrocketed 75% over the past 12 months and just hit another all-time high a few days ago. The fuel is not only essential for tankers, trains, and trucks, but also for many industries such as farming, manufacturing, metals, and mining. In essence, diesel is the fuel that powers the economy, as explained by Patrick DeHaan, the head of petroleum analysis at GasBuddy. Higher prices for fuels are certainly going to translate into more expensive goods, he said, given that these increased costs will surely at the grocery store, the hard
you are looking at potential more things, perhaps more things. There is
simply put, the impacts will be felt all across the economy. Fuels like diesel, heating oil, and jet fuel are called middle distillates since they're made from the middle of the boiling range when oil is turned into products. Currently, the U.S. distillate inventory is at the lowest level in over 10 years. The decline is even more acute on the East Coast, where stockpiles have hit the lowest point since 1996. Adding fuel to the fire, no pun intended, the East Coast relies heavily on other areas of the country for fine products, as DeHaan noted. MISO, which are 15 states across the U.S. Central region, is that capacity shortages outages. But today, several state temperatures and several plants were falling maintenance. In a recent report, the experts with Wall Street Journal described that grid instability and increased risk of power shortages this summer comes as fossil fuel power plants are being retired more quickly than they can be replaced by renewable energy and battery storage. Power grids have started to retire conventional power plants fueled by natural gas, coal, diesel, and nuclear power to green forms of energy such as solar power and wind. But that transition is happening without the establishment of a stable green energy system. So things are not working as well as planned. When we take a moment to think about it, why are we racing to retire the traditional power plant that can work around the clock? On top of that, speeding the build-out of renewable energy and batteries has become an especially difficult proposition amid supply chain challenges and inflation. This is a transition that should happen over the course of many years as the new system becomes resilient and reliable. California may enter a state of emergency again this year as the state's energy commission warned California will likely face supply gaps that could leave millions of people without power during peak hours. This imbalance in the grid is due to the lack of power generation that could last several years. From Texas to Indiana, many other electric grid operators are warning that power generating capacity is struggling to keep up with demand, a gap that could lead to rolling blackouts during peak periods throughout the year. Over the past 2 decades, power outages have more than doubled in the U.S. as we have faced more destructive storms that triple the of the nation's aging electrical grid, according to U.S. Department of Energy data. At least 20 states for the elderly, disabled, and other vulnerable communities. Means there's not going to be enough energy supplies for exports, nor to power up our industries and meet consumer demand. Why aren't the alarm bells ringing? This is going to affect each and every one of us, but unfortunately, the vast majority of the population still doesn't understand what's happening, so they aren't taking any steps to for the horror anything even close to this. And it's safe to say that the energy supply shortage is only going to intensify as the months roll along.
Says lament for Babylon. Well, my Bible says judgment against Babylon. Isaiah 47 verse 1. I got that right. Yeah, it said, come down and set in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Set on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of Chaldean. For there shall no more be called Teniket and Delikin, right? Teniket. Again, we get again Isaiah 47 verse 1. It said, "Come down and sit in the dust, sit in the dust of O virgin daughter of Babylon, set on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldean, for they shall no more be called tender and delicate." 3:26. Isaiah, I'm tripping. Isaiah chapter 3. No, I ain't tripping. Yeah. Isaiah 3 verse 20. Isaiah chapter 3 verse 26. The Most High will judge. Isaiah 3 verse 26. And her gates shall be limited in mourning, and it shall bring, she brought desolate, shall set upon the ground. Isaiah 26, Isaiah 3 verse 26. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she bend the desolate shall set upon the ground. Let me look at that word. Being a hello. All right. Let's say. Yeah, being.
Existence.
60, right. Living.
Life.
Like so.
Soul. Spirit.
Spirit.
Nature.
Yeah, I said it all. Yeah, Isaiah 3 verse 26. And her gates shall lament and mourning, and she being desolate, she set upon the ground. Move on. All right, move on with it. Got. All right, hold on, Isaiah. Let's see. Let's go to Isaiah 3 verse 26. No, tripping. It's called limitation. Let me see where I get in that. 2 and 10. Nope, that's not what I want. Let's go move on. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 50. I know this one. It said prophesy against Babylon. Let me see. Yeah, let's go to Jeremiah 50 verse 1. The word that the Lord spoke against Babylon and against the land of Chaldean by Jeremiah the prophet, declared among you the nation, and published this, and set upon a stand, and published this, concealed not the sins. Babylon is taken about, is confounded, murdered, and is broken in pieces. Her idols are confounded, her image are broken in pieces. Out of the north they came up a nation against her, which should make her land desolate, and none should dwell therein. They should remove thy, should depart both man and beast. In those days And in the time, said the Lord, thy children Israel should come thou and all the children of Judah together, go and weep, and they should go and seek the Lord thy power. I won't try to read all this, but let me see. Jeremiah. What else I can get? Let me see right here. This one over here. It was Jeremiah. Verse 20. I think this. In those days and in the time, said the Lord, the iniquity of Israel should be brought salt, for that should be none, and the sin of Judah, and they should not be found. For I will pardon them what was revealed, who I reserve. Go up against the land of I don't want to read that note. Yeah. Jeremiah 50 verse 20. How the hammer of the whole earth is cut and cindered and broken, how has Babylon become a desolate among the nation, and lay a snare for thee. They are also taken old Babylon. They are not aware. They have found and sought coldness, and because they had strike against the Lord, strike against the Lord had opened an army and had brought forth the weapon of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord, Yahweh, power of hosts in the land of the Chaldean. Let me see what else. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 51 verse 7. Let's see if I can read all that. Yeah. It said, Babylon judged for the sin of Israel. Thou said the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, against them that dwell in the midst of them. They arise against me, O daughter, destroying wind. And I was sent unto Babylon a fan. They should fan her. They should empty her land. For this is the day of trouble. They should be against her round about. Against her that been against her that been let the archers and let the archers bend his bow against him that lift himself up in his drunken and despair. You not, young man, destroy the other and all her host. They shall slain shall fall under the land of Chaldean, and that they are thrust through in the streets. Let's go to verse 7. Now verse 6, flee out the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Yeah, again, Jeremiah 51 verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Verse 7, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunk. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. Right? The nations are mad. Jeremiah 51 verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen, and destroy hollow for her. Take blame for her pain, for it so be. She may be healed. Verse 9, we will heal Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone unto his own country, for her judgment reach unto heaven, and is lifted up into the sky. Right? Judgment to heaven. In verse 10, the Lord had brought forth out our righteousness. Come, let us declare in Zion the works of the Lord our power, and make it bright the arrow, and gather the shield. The Lord had raised up the spear of the king. a familiar, and for his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. All right, let me see what else. So right, let's go to Jeremiah 51 verse 47. Therefore, behold, the day come that I will do judgment upon the great image of Babylon, and the whole land shall be confounded, and her slain shall fall under the midst of her. The heaven and the earth and all that is therein shall sing for Babylon, for the spoil shall come unto her from the north, said the Lord. Right, Yahweh Shema Shah. Verse 49. As Babylon had caused the slain of Israel to fall, so Babylon shall fall, the slain of all the earth. You that have escaped the sword, go away, stand not still, remember the Lord afar off, and let Jerusalem come unto your mind. What else got me? Just trying to get into the Go to Jeremiah 51 verse 62. Thou shalt say, O Lord, thou have spoken against this place to cut it off, that none should remain in it, neither man nor beast, but there should be desolate forever. Right, should be desolate forever. Desolate forever. Hold on, let me see what else I got. Let me look at that word up. We're gonna move on. Go to Jeremiah 51 verse 3. Alright, hold on 4 minutes. It's not getting me the right ones. Bandit. Band. Brodian, what Borgo? Okay, Borgo. Alright, hold on for me to get this. What does it say?
Brigandine.
Oh, Brigandine, yeah.
Brigandine.
What is it? It's a orange ring of plate. Brigandine. Alright, look it up. It's a body armor.
Brigandine.
Yeah, it's the Middle East French. Yeah, Brigandine. Alright, move on. Clock for that. Okay, yeah. Brigandine, and spare you not in her, young man, destroy and under all her host. Verse 6, flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul, be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord vengeance. You will render unto her a recompense. Verse 7, Babylon being the golden cups in the Lord's hand, that make all the earth drunken. The nations have drunk of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Verse 9, we will heal Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, let us go, everyone unto his own country, for her judgment is reaching to heaven, and lift up even to the sky. Oops, reach into the sky, yeah. Alright, let's see, we get some couple more scriptures. And we're gonna move on. Right, so you see here. You see, Lamentation 4, I don't know, this, go right. Yeah, Lamentation 4, verse 20. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwell in the land of Uz. The cup also should pass through, and thou shalt be drunken, and thou shalt make thyself naked. Right, rejoice. Okay, what else? Try to get a couple before I close out. So yeah, man, rejoice. Let's go to Isaiah 24. Verse 12. No, verse 11. There is a cry for wine in the street. All joy is darkness. The mirth of the land is gone. And the city is left desolate. And the gate is smite with destruction. Right, with destruction. Man, we did it again. Isaiah 24 verse 11. There is crying for wine in the street. All joy is darkness. The mirth of the land is gone. Verse 12. The city is left desolate. And the gate is smite with destruction. Right, with destruction. Let's go to 12 verse 4. And that day when the keeper of the house shall tremble, and the stronger man shall bow down himself, and the corner, I can't go wrong, get that right. Grinder. Yeah, yes, grind. Yep, I said it wrong. Yep, grinder.
Grinder.
Alright. Ecclesiastes 12, verse 3. In that day, when the keeper of the house shall tremble, and the strong man shall bow down himself, and the grinder cough because they are few, and those that look out the window be darkness, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinder is low, and it shall rise up at the voice of the birds, and all the daughters of the music shall be brought low. All right, all the daughters of the music shall be brought low. Let's see, bow down, bow themselves. Hold on. Go move on. Yeah, I said. Yeah, bow. Yeah, what it say?
Loop.
Yeah, for that man.
Knot.
No, I said bow. No, wrong.
Lace.
Yeah, triple.
Ribbon.
That's ribbon. Let's go back to that again. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 3 again. It said, in that day, when the keeper of the house shall tremble, and the strong man shall bow himself, and the grinder cough because there are few, and those that look out the window be darkness. And the door shall be shut in the street when the sound of the grinder is low, and it shall raise up at the voice of the birds, and all the daughters of the music shall be brought low. Verse 5. Also, when I shall be afraid of them, of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way, and among almond trees shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be burdens, and desire shall fail, because a man goes to his long home, and the morning go about the street. Let me see it. I wasn't trying to read all that. Nope, trying to read all that. Yeah, so you see, man. Let me look at it again. Hold on. Bow. And we got it again. Please, yeah, then we'll move on. What's that? What is that? The music of the daughter. Yeah, but no, I read verse 4. And the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinders is low, and it shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the doors of the music shall be brought low. Shall be brought low. Let's go to Revelation. What, 17? What we got here? If I don't got enough what I want, might just close it out. Let me see, man. Nope, that's not what I want. Let's get a couple more. Let's get this right here. This is it. What does it say? Revelation 18:1. Babylon is fallen. And after those things, I saw another angel came down from heavens, and had great power, and the earth was alight with his glory. And he cried with a mighty strong voice, and said, Babylon the great is fallen, and the becoming the habit of the devil, and the whole of every foul spirit, and the carcass of every unclean, hateful bird. Right. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth had committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her deliciousness. Yeah. Oh, I think I'm going overboard time, right? We're going. Look at that word, deliciousness.
Delicacy.
Oh, I'm always playing around with phone. Jealousy, yeah. Boy. What did it say?
Intricacy.
Intricacy, okay.
Sensitivity.
Coarseness.
Coarseness.
Precision.
Precision.
Elegance.
Elegance.
Accuracy.
Accuracy. Oh, look at the other one. Hold on.
Delicacy.
Delicacy. All right, move on. Because we get in Revelation chapter 18, verse 3. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of her wrath of the fornication. The king of the earth is committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her jealousy. All right, jealousy. Let's go back to Revelation 18, verse 2. Right. So yeah, Babylon the Great is falling. It's falling. For right, man. So you see here, man. Yeah. All right, let me see what else I can do. Go back to the video and watch a little bit of that and close out. Meant to be that long, but delicacy.
Delicacy.
All right. Let's go to Revelation 8. Oh, I messed up that. Okay, it's all right. Let's go to the other one.
Operation H knows the no-touch relief you're angling for in that corner pocket.
45 days, with constraints expected to continue. Before the health crisis, waiting times averaged less than a week, or 4 to 6 days. 25. While maritime shipping companies face growing challenges, businesses are trying to get their products shipped by plane. That has led air freight rates to explode 168% over the past 2 years, reports the Lodestar. 26. In 2021, 75% of shipping containers leaving the United States to go to Asia were empty. Those blank sailings occurred partly because port congestion in America was so bad that when containers were finally unloaded, shipping companies didn't wait for them to be reloaded with U.S. goods to make the return trip. Instead, they were diverted to other markets that were more profitable for cargo carriers. 27. The American Trucking Association data shows that the industry could face a shortage of over 140,000 drivers by 2026, increasing the driver shortage to over 160,000 drivers by 2030. 28. Unfilled jobs and a manufacturing skills gap are expected to cost the United States as much as $1 trillion by 2030, according to estimates from Datex. 29. To make things worse, 2.1 million jobs critical to the supply chain and manufacturing industry will remain unfilled by 2030, according to Forbes' supply chain experts. 30. Last year, Resilink reported the highest rate of manufacturing disruptions recorded in a single year. The firm sent out 1,946 supply chain disruptions alerts, marking a 129% increase compared to 2020. Most of these interruptions were caused by factory fires, which have been attributed to gaps in regulatory and process execution and a shortage of skilled labor in warehouses. Now, all of these numbers expose the unprecedented damages done to this key system for global trade. These problems cannot be fixed overnight, and more issues continue to emerge with each passing day. In other words, the global supply chain breakdown has only just begun. Even if we experience moments of relative stability, a lot more turbulence is still ahead. As this perfect storm of factors continues to intensify, 2022 is right on track to be the worst year ever for supply chains. This means we should all prepare accordingly, because at this point It only takes one single blow to interrupt the flow of goods across the world, and a recovery may not arrive until 2024.
Try this new 10-second technique tonight to reverse type 2 diabetes. Most people continue to take.
So you see here, man, the collapse had begun. Right, man. So, hey, you know what other people's doing, man, they have no idea what's going on. What time that we are in. You know, it's time to seek the Lord. Let's go to Isaiah. Close it out with that. 55:6. Isaiah 55:6. It says, "Seek you the Lord while he may be found, and call upon him while he is near." Right? It said, "Let the wicked forsake his ways, and the righteous man his thoughts. Let him return to the Lord. He will have mercy upon him, to our power, for he will abundant pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, said the Lord. For as the heaven are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." In verse 11, so shall my words be that go forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and shall purpose in things what I sent it. So right, man, Isaiah 55:6 again, it says, "Seek you the Lord while he may be found, and call upon him while he is near." Right? Seek the Lord while he may be found. So I'm gonna close it out. Hope that was all right, but we got it to it, So giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Abishai, double honor to Apostle Brother G.M. Shalom to the hopeful elect.